Every so often in sports, a day comes along that doesn't just break records, it absolutely shatters them. And today, we're talking about one of those days. For one of the best cricket teams on the planet, it was a total, historic, just unbelievable collapse.
And it all boils down to this one single number, 276. Now, what does that mean? Well, it represents one of the most brutal, lopsided defeats in modern cricket. That's the margin, in runs, that one team beat another by. And believe me, the story of how we got to that number is just incredible.
All right, so let's set the scene. The date is August 24th, 2025. You've got two giants of the sport, Australia and South Africa, facing off. But this wasn't just another game. It was a complete demolition. So let's break down exactly how a gap this huge was even possible, inning by inning. And really, the whole story is right here. Look at this. On one side, you have Australia putting up a mountain of a score, 431 runs. And on the other, South Africa, all out for just 155. I mean, that staggering difference pretty much tells you everything you need to know about how this day unfolded.
Just so we're all on the same page, this match was what's called a one-day international, or an ODI. Think of it like a sprint in cricket. Each team gets a limited number of chances to hit, 50 overs, which is 300 balls, to score as many runs as they possibly can. It's a format that's all about explosive power. And that makes what Australia managed to do, well, even more remarkable.
Okay, so let's start with Australia's side of the story, because this wasn't just good batting. No. This was a relentless, overwhelming onslaught that basically left South Africa staring at an impossible mountain to climb. And get this is something you almost never see. 3 different Australian batsmen, Travis Head, Mitchell Marsh, and Cameron Green, each scored a century, which means they all scored over 100 runs individually. That kind of triple threat is just devastating, and it's what built that monumental score. But even among those 3 amazing performances, Cameron Green's was something else. I mean, scoring 118 runs is great, but to do it from only 55 balls, that is just breathtaking speed. It was actually the second fastest 100 ever by an Australian in an ODI. We're talking pure, unadulterated power. All right, so Australia sets this impossible target. The pressure is now completely on South Africa's shoulders, and, well, as we're about to see, that pressure didn't just crack them, it caused their entire lineup to crumble in truly spectacular fashion. Honestly, the chase was over before it even got going. They were bowled out for just 155. But look at how quickly it happened. In just 24.5 overs. They didn't even make it halfway through their innings. It was just a swift, complete, and total collapse. So if Australia's batsmen set the stage for this demolition, it was their bowler Cooper Connolly who really brought the curtain down. He took 5 wickets, that means he got 5 different batsmen out, while only giving up 22 runs. That's just a phenomenal performance. He's the one who turned a tough situation for South Africa into an absolutely impossible one. So, okay, a really bad loss, right? We get it. But it was so much more than that. To really understand why this one day was so huge, we've got to put it into historical context for South African cricket. And here's where it goes from just bad to truly historic. Take a look at this list of their worst ever defeats. See the others? Now, look at the top. That 276-run loss doesn't just edge out the old record. It completely shatters it. It's now, by a long shot, South Africa's heaviest defeat ever in an ODI. And just to put that into perspective, the previous record was a 243-run loss to India. And that wasn't just some random game. It happened during the 2023 World Cup on the biggest stage. So to lose by more than that, by over 30 runs, it shows you the incredible scale of this collapse. But here's where the story takes a really interesting twist. Because if you think this one single catastrophic day tells the whole story of the contest between these teams, well, you'd be wrong. There's a much bigger picture, and it's pretty surprising. So that brings up a really good question, right? Does a single historic disaster like this one just define everything? Does one terrible day on the field completely erase everything that came before it? Well, incredibly, the answer is no, not at all.
Because even though South Africa suffered their worst loss ever in this match, it was the final match of the series, and they had already won the first 2 games. That's right. The final score for the whole series was 2-1 in favor of South Africa. So they lost this one battle in the most crushing, humiliating way you could imagine. But they had already won the war. They're the ones who went home with the series trophy. It's just such a perfect example of why we love sports, isn't it? The beautiful chaos of it all. It's this powerful reminder that being resilient over a whole series can matter so much more than being perfect in just one game. A single day's disaster doesn't always determine who the ultimate champion is. And that leaves us with this one last thing to think about. For the players, for the fans, what's going to stick with them longer? Is it the sharp sting of that historic, record-breaking failure? Or is it the quiet satisfaction of the ultimate victory? It's a really fascinating question about what we actually value most when we watch sports.